Alrighty, Yellow Guys Beast, back with some more Beastly content. Today we are on week 2 of Season of the Dead game. Season of the Deep. The Season of the Deep, guys. The best season we've had so far, right? Alright, anyway, so, first things first, last week they did end up dropping the dungeon within the first week, which was, interesting. They had to release the dungeon within the first week because there wasn't enough content on the game. 2, they released the trailer for the next DLC, and I have to admit, Final Light looks phenomenal. I'm so happy to see Cage 6 back. You know it, guys, but I will continue to stand with my opinion of the next year's content, as well as the rest of this season, that it's all just going to be gimmicky, fillery seasons. Maybe the next 2 seasons might not be as bad, but as for this one, it's a very low effort season. They definitely spent most of the budget on this season making a dungeon, which is one mission. Don't tell me they added a dungeon and act like it saves the world, because it really doesn't, okay? That's one mission. And 2, the weekly missions themselves are, while the only reason why I won't call them a joke is because the end boss fight is actually a fun thing to be playing. I will admit that getting on once a week and playing this mission, like most seasons, is an enjoyable experience. However, as for actual story development, basically all we have is a bunch of recaps being handed to Sloan, and Sloan saying something. Well, we'll find out how the story's progressing soon, but it's not much progression if you ask me. I feel like we're gonna get an out of nowhere end of the story, and it's just gonna be like a crazy twist, and we're gonna be fighting like a reanimation of the Taken King or something. But anyway, this is salvage. This is what it told us to do after we spoke to Zavala. It told us to go play salvage, which I think this is how we're supposed to do it, right, guys? This is the side of the map we're supposed to be on, right? Well, clearly so, because I just walked through the front door of it, and now we're underneath this map, guys. And if you take a look here, I know y'all know what these assets are from. I know y'all aren't this naive. If you play Destiny 2 base game, you know that they just reused Destiny 2 base game assets. But not only that, they did such a poor job of it that one of these spawning doors, you can just walk through it and be underneath the map, guys. I didn't even have to do any glitching to get under here. I just accidentally walked through a spawn door that didn't have a barrier for some reason, because they were so lazy when they threw this salvage crap together from old assets that this is just what they did. I will say I liked the boss fight of the salvage mission I did. I liked the design of the boss. It was just another we wiped the boss situation. Anyway, Mayday, Mayday, this game's in for a horrible experience these next 4 months. Okay, so the name of the mission's Mayday, Mayday, Midnight. I'm thinking that last week was Mayday, Mayday, just without Midnight. I'm not really sure on last week's name, but it should be named the exact same thing as last week, because guess what? It's basically the same mission as last week, except for they randomized where the objective points are going to be. This first room here is where the drill and collect fuel area was. This right here is a different location for a jump down holes area, though I will say at one point we did turn off a giant ceiling fan, guys. We are doing it with the quality content this week. So besides turning off the giant fan, and once we turned off the giant fan, of course, we then began to jump down more holes. Also pretending that we're underwater, even though we're really just in the same exact mode that we would be in if we were carrying the fuel cells. As you'll see here in a minute, our water mechanic is the exact same mechanic as if we're carrying either a wrench or a fuel cell. Now I will say they did add wrenches to this week's mission, guys. We get to walk around with giant wrenches. Are you so hype or what? Anyway, once we were done with this, all we had to do was collect 3 fusion cores, or energy cores, or what the heck ever, fuel cores, and then we collected some wrenches and we did some wrenching, which I'm getting really sick 2 years in of this new wrench mechanic being a new mechanic, even though it's really just the same thing as an orb of power that we're putting into a thingamabobber. But anyway, so here is the boss fight, and as I always say, the only good content in this season is the final boss fight of these missions, which have been getting progressively easier as I have done them, I will add. So, before I let y'all watch the rest of this, let me go ahead and explain to you the mechanics of this boss fight. So, first things first, this is a 2-stage boss fight. The first stage includes nuking the crap out of the boss until it's at 50% health. The second stage includes defeating 3 taken ogres. Well, actually, I think they're taken ogres. There's some sort of ogres. Regardless, you gotta defeat 3 ogres. After you defeat the ogres, the next thing is going to be to nuke the boss down to 0 health. Then you will have completed this mission, and this will be another season of the, whatever, man. Okay, enjoy the rest of this. I will see y'all. We will go ahead and recap on the end story here. What sort of lovely story we have been given now. But you can enjoy the battle until then. Alright guys, so basically at the end of the boss fight here, we went ahead and finished it off with the Shadow Shot. Like I said, I used Shadow Shot for the boss this week. I might try freaking Arc next week for the mission because it's going to be a carbon copy. Anyway, so after that, we have some sort of weird discussion thing between Zavala and Saint 14 about how Saint 14 isn't good enough to be a commander, but for some reason Zavala was, and I don't know. Honestly, when I look back in the lore and I see the Saint 14 used to be the commander, I wish he still was! Okay, anyway. So, this here is Sloan. Of course, no one knows who this character is or cares about it, so of course instead they just had to tell us how our traveler never speaks, never answers any of our questions, and we've all just wondered what the heck is even going on with this giant ball in the sky anyway. What's its purpose, man? But the sky darkens, of course, as a new journey begins, because we're gonna finally finish Light versus Dark, and they're gonna release all sorts of new crappy content. Anyway, so apart from this is the full new set. I have now completed it. This is it in all sorts of different shaders. I don't mind the set. I don't think it's that bad, but honestly, overall, seriously, if I put my old Spider Hunter set back on, I'm gonna rock that any day of the week over this. So, the other thing is, Iron Banner is back now, guys, and they added us 2 weapons we're not gonna care about. A fusion rifle and a fusion rifle and a grenade launcher, guys. Anyway, I am out. Keep it beast mode. Catch you on week 3.